Mr. Internet.
The internet is like the Wild West when it comes to intellectual properties. I mean, you've got mashups, you've got samples, you've got outright theft. And in many cases, all you have to do is make one small tweak to a pre-existing property and you can call it your own. In fact, you don't even have to add anything. You could just take something away. Look at Garfield minus Garfield, a super popular site where they've taken old Garfield comic strips and simply removed Garfield. It's turned into sort of an existential comment on solitude. But is this an original work? Or is it just a ripoff? We're here with intellectual property attorney Pete Kinsella to answer exactly that question.
Hi, I'm Pete Kinsella. I'm a partner with Fagery & Benson, and I practice internet law.
Does that allow you to better break internet law where you see fit?
It at least allows me to skirt the edges of internet law.
Well, it's refreshing to hear you semi-admit that. On this Garfield minus Garfield site, what's going on here, Pete?
Whenever you take somebody else's copyrighted work, and if you modify it or alter it in any way, it's still potentially copyright infringement. And the only way it isn't copyright infringement is if what you're doing amounts to what's called a fair use. Are you doing what you're doing for a profit, or are you doing it for a non-commercial purpose?
So besides money, what might be some of the other factors?
The other big factor is whether your use is transformative. Have you changed the nature of the use so that it now does something different or creates a different impression in the minds of society?
So with the case of Garfield minus Garfield, it's almost like omission is the new creativity. I mean, is this transformative?
I think that that's really challenging to say that it would be transformative. In order to be transformative, you really have to dramatically change the nature of the work.
I can't flame out Tom Selleck's mustache and re-release Magnum PI as my own creation.
No, I think you're making a very minor change, and a minor change doesn't take you into fair use.
Have you seen his mustache? It's thick, it's luxurious. I would hardly call that a minor change, but I understand what you're saying.
But there's so many other things in the scene other than his mustache, although I understand in some scenes it's just the mustache.
Yes, it's hard to look past it. You are an attorney, you're a predator, let's face it. Would you argue either side of this Garfield minus Garfield if there was a handsome paycheck on the back end?
This is one of those cases where you couldn't remove Garfield from the Garfield cartoons 5 years ago. And so there's always new, interesting legal issues that arise every day with the internet. And so it really makes for some interesting challenges when you take either side of those cases.
Listen. Maybe that works on the uninitiated, telling them that you're actually motivated by being on the cutting edge of patent law, but you and I both know you want to be in a 7 Series Beamer indefinitely.
Or either that or the SUV.